Customer called, said his gate was working, but he's got this problem. And I told him that bolting the equipment like this to the gate operator could cause problems in the future. And he had said that the person that worked on the gate operator was not a gate operator person. He was just a welder. And that's always a clue that something could go wrong. I'm not down in welders. I'm just saying if you're not trained in just these little nuances of the gate opener, they can pop up and be issues in the future. And that's exactly what we had happen. Customers got a broken bolt from these bolts that were put in, and as opposed to welding it like he did everything else, I'm sure that he bolted it together because he wasn't sure of the angle of the arm. So if you bolt it together, it gives you a little bit of leeway. So we know exactly what we need. Looks like his spacing is not that bad. We are going to weld that over there, tack weld this. We'll do a little bit more than tack weld it. We'll run a bead around that, and we'll run a bead around this. Right now where we're at is we've got our welder out, and we're going to just put a couple tacks on that, make sure that the opening and the closing is correct, and if it is, then we'll run a weld around that. What's so interesting is, like, welded that, welded the brackets, didn't weld this, and then welded this. And although these don't take much effort to weld, the welds aren't super great, but they do the trick. See, that's the thing, is it's not really supporting that much weight. But why wouldn't you just go the extra mile and weld the bracket all together? And the reason is because you need to know what the angle of this arm is, because you can actually get it in a situation where it binds on the back of this, and if it does, then the gate's not going to close all the way. So you need to be able to move it around a little bit in order to get it in the right position, and that's what the bolts help you do. My contention is get a gate operator that is rated for gate properly, and in this case that gate operator is. However, when you factor in the wind, you need to have that as a concern. As we've already seen, we have bolts just shearing off, so there's quite a bit of wind that goes through here. The safety device is working, so we're just going to finish this weld right here and move on to the next one. All right, so this is a case where I'm not going to actually get out the manual and check the measurements of the arm. The reason being is because at one point in time it was working, and I've got a good fist in between here, which I'm happy with. We don't want it parallel. We want a little bit of an angle on there. That way when the gate pushes, it's actually pushing it closed that way. But when it's parallel with the gate and the actuator arm is straight like this, parallel, it actually pushes more that way, and we need it to push it like that way. I went ahead and did a tack weld on it. I moved this knee pad out of the way. So now what I'm concerned with is, does it open all the way properly? Looks like we've got an issue with this thing being bent a little. I'll see if I can bend that up. So it looks like we've got that set up pretty good. Safety device works. So let's go ahead and finish this up. You can see they've got not very much space over here. I want to find out where that rubbing's at. Could just be in the actuator arm. Yeah, it's right there. And that gasket right there. I think these might have to be bolted back here, but it seems to be working okay. These could probably open a little bit more. We'll worry about that here in a minute. Let's go ahead and finish welding. All right, looks like we're getting some rain, so I'll move on to the next one. I just want to make sure that this holds and is the right thing, since I'm not measuring the angles or anything like that. Put just a couple of welds on this right here, and just tacked it on the bottom, and then tacked it on the top right there. But I'm just trying to get a decent hold on there. It's still got these screws in there. Typically I'd put a tack here in the middle, and then I'd tack it on the bottom and then on the sides, just to get a little bit leverage. I don't want to do this, weld it all the way down and all the way around, because if you ever need to take it off, you've got to cut all those things off. Really not adding that much strength. Put a weld on the back over here, and then I put a weld on that side right there too, which you probably can't see, and then straighten this bracket out just a little bit so we don't get as much uneven wear. Unfortunately, in order to be 100% on the uneven wear, it would need to be balanced and level like this one is, but that one's either been bent or something happened. Maybe it happened with this repair that we're doing right here. We'll just put a little bit of touch-up paint on there and consider these welds done, ready to go, and put the arm back on there and then test it out.